The moment the front door clicked shut, my entire world shattered into pieces. I stood in my sister's living room, listening to the taxi pull away as Brooke and Jared left for their so-called Caribbean cruise. 5 days of sunshine and umbrella drinks while I babysat their daughter. I turned around with a smile, ready to ask Nola what she wanted to do first. Maybe bake cookies, watch a movie, or read together. But Nola wasn't reaching for her iPad. She wasn't typing into her text-to-speech app. She was just standing there, staring at me intensely. And then she opened her mouth. "Auntie, don't drink the tea Mom made." She plotted something bad. Her voice was clear, perfect, like she had been speaking her whole life. The thermos slipped slightly in my hands. My niece, the child I believed was mute, had just spoken. Not whispered, not struggled, spoken. And she was warning me that my own sister was trying to poison me. Let me go back a few hours. My name is Lisa Rains. I'm 32 years old. I'm an accountant in Columbus, Ohio. I live a quiet, structured life. I like spreadsheets. I like predictable outcomes. I like numbers because numbers don't lie. People, however, absolutely do. That morning, Brooke had called me in that honey-sweet voice she only used when she wanted something. She and Jared had booked a last-minute anniversary cruise. Very romantic, very spontaneous. And they needed someone to watch Nola. Of course, I said yes. I adored my niece. Even though communicating through an iPad sometimes felt exhausting, she had this quiet depth about her. When I read to her, she would lean against my shoulder and close her eyes. She trusted me. I felt it. Brooke always told everyone Nola had a rare neurological condition that made her unable to speak. Diagnosed at 3, permanent, nothing to be done. I never questioned it. Why would I? Brooke was the confident one, the charismatic one, the one people admired. I was just reliable. Our parents had passed away recently. Dad from heart disease, Mom from cancer. Mom left behind a trust $1.2 million to be split between Brooke and me, requiring both of our signatures for major withdrawals. I thought it was fair. Now I realize Mom probably saw something I didn't. Back in the kitchen, staring at Nola, my hands shaking, I knelt down to her level. You can talk?" She nodded. Her eyes were scared but determined. I always could. Mommy made me stop. Everything inside me went cold. And that's when Nola told me the truth. She wasn't born mute. When she was 3 years old, she overheard Brooke on the phone saying words like Aunt Lisa, money, and out of the picture. The next day, innocent and confused, Nola asked her what out of the picture meant. Brooke grabbed her arms, hard. "If you ever speak again about anything," she told her, "something terrible will happen to Aunt Lisa. Your voice is dangerous. If you love her, you'll stay silent." So Nola did. For 5 years, she gave up her voice to protect me. 5 years of pretending. 5 years of doctor visits. Brooke played the role of devoted mother of a special needs child, won awards, got sympathy, built an image. And 2 nights before the cruise, Nola overheard something else. "The tea will make her sick," Brooke told Jared. "Not deadly, just enough for the air." The cruise was fake. The illness was planned. The forged documents were ready. My sister was going to poison me and steal everything. And the only reason I was standing there healthy was because an 8-year-old girl broke 5 years of silence. That was the moment I stopped being afraid. That was the moment I became strategic. Because Brooke thought she had 5 days. She had no idea the quiet sister she underestimated was about to destroy her entire plan. The first person I called was Gwen Mercer, my best friend since college and a nurse who does not panic under pressure. When she arrived and I told her everything, she didn't question me. She didn't doubt Nola. She simply put on gloves and said, "Let's gather evidence." The tea was tested that same night. Results: strong laxatives and sedatives. Enough to hospitalize me for 48 to 72 hours. Brooke wasn't trying to kill me. She just needed me incapacitated. We opened Brooke's locked office drawer. Nola knew the code. Of course she did. Silent children see everything. Inside, we found forged bank forms with my signature. Not perfect, but close. We found 14 months of withdrawals under $15,000 each. Nearly $180,000 already stolen. We found emails to an Indianapolis attorney arranging emergency transfer of trust control due to my mental instability. And then we found something worse. A file labeled, Lisa mental concerns. Pages of fabricated notes describing me as unstable, paranoid, depressed. She was building a case to discredit me if I ever challenged her. My sister wasn't just stealing money. She was preparing to destroy my sanity on paper. I called Kevin Calloway, now an assistant prosecutor. When he heard everything, he didn't hesitate. "This is fraud, forgery, attempted poisoning, and child abuse," he said. "We're setting a sting." The Indianapolis lawyer cooperated. The FBI was informed due to interstate fraud. My job? Pretend I drank the tea. So I did. I called Brooke in a weak, trembling voice, told her I was violently ill, possibly heading to the ER. She texted back a pink heart emoji. Not a call, not concern, just a heart. That was when I knew without a doubt. She believed she had already won. Day 4, Indianapolis. Through a secure video feed, I watched Brooke walk into the law office, perfectly dressed, carrying her leather folder of lies. Detectives were waiting. They laid out the forged signatures, the bank records, the lab results, and then they played Nola's recorded testimony. I stopped talking because Mommy said my voice would hurt Aunt Lisa. I watched Brooke's face collapse. "She's mute," Brooke insisted. "No," the detective replied. "She was traumatized." The mask shattered. Jared immediately asked for a lawyer and offered to testify against her. And just like that, Brooke was arrested. Handcuffs, police car, gone. 5 years of manipulation ended in under 15 minutes. I didn't feel triumphant. I felt steady. Justice isn't loud, it's calm. But there was still one final step. Nola. 2 weeks later, we sat in family court. Nola wore a purple dress, her favorite color. The judge reviewed everything: fraud, forgery, attempted poisoning, psychological abuse. Jared signed away parental rights in exchange for cooperation. Then the judge looked directly at Nola. "Where would you like to live?" She stood up. "I want to live with my Aunt Lisa. She listens to me, even when I couldn't talk." The judge granted emergency custody. And just like that, we walked out of that courthouse together, not as aunt and niece, as family. At my apartment, I turned the spare room into hers. Purple walls, bookshelves, a reading corner. The silence was gone, replaced with nonstop chatter. Dinosaurs, dragons, school stories, pancake debates. 5 years of silence came out all at once. She started trauma therapy. Some days were hard. Some nights she had nightmares. But she wasn't alone anymore. The trust was audited. Most stolen funds recovered. I became sole trustee. I sold the family house. Too many ghosts there. Instead, I built something new. An education fund for Nola. A future not built on fear. Sometimes I think about my mom. About her refusing to change the will. About her warning Nola that something was wrong in Brooke's heart. She knew. Mothers often do. Last Saturday, Nola and I sat on our balcony eating pancakes. She told me about a dream involving a waffle castle and a polite dragon named Gerald. It made no sense. It was perfect. Halfway through her story, she looked at me and said, "Thank you for listening." For real listening. I squeezed her hand. Always. Because sometimes the quietest people aren't weak. They're just waiting for someone safe enough to speak to. Nola found her voice. And I found my family. And this time, the silence was finally broken for good.